皆様、会場にお集まりの皆様、そしてオンラインで世界中からご覧いただいている皆様、本日はお集まりいただきまして誠にありがとうございます。今年、戦後80周年を迎えました。ある意味とても記念すべき日を迎えました。広島では今、平和記念、公園の中で式典の準備が行われております。後ほどこの、こちらのニューヨークで行われております会場のインターフェース、平和の集いとともに、広島の会場も皆様と一緒にお送りいたしまして、宗教を超えたリーダーの方たちがこちらの立正厚生協会お集まりですけれども、こちらの会場から皆様に平和の祈りを捧げたいと思っております。どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。私、挨拶を送りましたけれども、広島会というものがニューヨークにはございまして、そちらの執行役員、そして、本日のこの会の主催をしております、ニューヨーク平和ファンデーションのプログラムコーディネーターをさせていただいております、中村よしこと申します。どうぞ最後までお付き合いください。ありがとうございます。それでは、ジェームスさん、お願いします。
Good evening, everyone. Oh, they can hear me. Online, you mean?
Yeah.
All right. I'll get the microphone. Oh, I know what he's saying.
Stand the back.
No. He tells us we already prepared. We prepared for this. Multi-directional. Well, good evening, everyone. I want to thank actually Venerable Nakagaki for putting in the tremendous efforts, even while he's in Japan, to see this important event take place. My name is James Lynch. I'm the Minister of Rissho Kosei-kai of New York. I'm also a board member of the Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation. And I'm so grateful for all of you to be here and online, first time we've ever done this, to participate in this very important event. So today I offer these words of respect on behalf of Rissho Kosei-kai of New York and the Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation. Indeed, this evening we do not gather for a ceremony alone. We gather to remember the unspeakable pain of Hiroshima, to remember the moment when humanity pierced its own soul with the weapon of forgetting. On August the 6th, 1945, a single bomb fell from the sky. In seconds, over 70,000 lives were lost. Mothers and children, elders and students, each with names, stories and dreams that would never be fulfilled. In the aftermath, silence descended, but it was not peace. It was shock. And in that silence, the world stood still at a threshold. Would we awaken, or would we forget again? Here at Rissho Kosei-kai and at the Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation, I say and believe clearly, we will not forget. So we gather not in remembrance, but in a vow. We vow to face the truth of what was done, to honor the suffering of the hibakusha, the survivors, to recognize how violence, fear, and delusion converged in that moment. But we also gather in hope, not naive hope, but the hope born of presence, the hope that arises when we see clearly, feel deeply, and still choose to awaken. We gather in stillness, not to escape suffering, but to be fully present to it. Present to the cries that once rose from the scorched earth of Hiroshima, present to the sacred lives lost in an instant, present to the quiet vow that now stirs our own hearts. In this sacred presence, we recall the teachings of founder Nico Niwano. He always said, based upon the Lotus Sutra, that this was ekayana, one vehicle, and that this oneness is not sentimental, it's structural. It's not a doctrine, it's a dharma in which we remember who we truly are. So our mission is nothing less than the evolution of humanity, not through conquest or ideology, but through the inner transformation that comes from remembering our oneness. And so we say, we will not answer violence with silence. We will not respond to division with more division. We will not forget. Instead, we vow to be present, to awaken the sacred in every person, to stand in the cool dew of the Buddha's compassion extended outward across borders through generations, beyond even death. Together with the Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation's leader, Venerable Nakagaki, and her entire interfaith family here today and online through videos, and our ancestors, both known and unknown, we bow in deep remembrance, not only for the past, but for the awakening of all future tomorrows. May our prayers this evening not be sound alone, but the vibration of peace itself, arising from the one vehicle of eternal hope. I've offered these words of respect to each and every one of you and to the generations that we lost through the bombing in Hiroshima. Thank you so much. What we're going to do now is have a series of interfaith prayers. The first one is going to be done by me and Mr. Mura and Rose from Rissho Kosei-kai. It's actually going to be done in English. And the reason why we thought about doing it in Japanese, but we wanted to say everyone, regardless of the language, what they look like, should take the deaths and the loss of life in Hiroshima as a personal loss. And that's why we're doing it this way. So thank you. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Let it be known that this place is in need of a place of the way. Hear the Buddha's ordains to bring perfect awakening. Hear the Buddha's roll the normal wheel. And hear the Buddha's anthem for Nirvana. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Buddham Saranam Gauchame. May we with all living beings deeply experience the great way and give rise to the free aspiration. Dhammam Saranam Gauchame. May we with all living beings embrace the riches of the sutras and make our wisdom as wide and deep as the sea. Sangam Saranam Gauchame. May we with all living beings guide the ring of unity and be free from all hindrances. We would obey the eternal Buddha Shakyamuni, great benevolent teacher, world all in one. The Tathagata of abundant treasures, witness of Bodhi Sutra, the separated embodiments of the Buddha in the 10 directions, in the past, present, and future, the 4 great Bodhisattvas, superior practice, boundless practice, beyond practice, and steadfast practice, the Bodhisattva Mahasambhas Manjushri Universal Sage, Mind Train all of the Bodhisattva Mahasambhas, Great Bodhisattva Nichiren, revered practitioner Lotus Sutra, found an ego, great teacher, the one vehicle, all bound of Yoga, Bodhisattva, the way of compassion, the guardian spheres of Rissho Kosei-kai, and the countless heavenly spheres in the 10 directions. May you all be present among us and do our deep devotion. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. The unsurpassed, profound, wondrous Dharma rarely met in miracle compass. Now we see, hear, and leave and embrace it. May we understand the foremost teaching of the Tathagata. The Sutra of the Lotus Flower of the Wondrous Dharma. From chapter 10, Teachers of the Dharma. After the passing of the Tathagata, if there were good sons and good daughters who desire to teach this Dharma Flower Sutra to the four groups, how should they teach it? These good sons and good daughters should enter the abode of the Tathagata, put on the robe of the Tathagata, and sit on the seat of the Tathagata. Then for the sake of the four groups, they should widely proclaim this sutra. The abode of the Tathagata, the great compassionate heart for all living beings. The robe of the Tathagata, the flexible and forbearing mind. The seat of the Tathagata, the emptiness of all things. Abiding steadfastly in these, they should diligently teach this Dharma Flower Sutra. Far and wide the Bodhisattvas and the four groups. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. May these merits extend universally to all, so that we can all living beings together accomplish the Buddha way. May these merits extend universally to all, so that we can all living beings together accomplish the Buddha way. May these merits extend universally to all, so that we can all living beings together accomplish the Buddha way. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. 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 Having respectfully recited the great vehicle sutra of the Lotus Flower of the wondrous Dharma, may we transfer its merits to and thus reciprocate the boundless compassion of the eternal Buddha Shakyamuni, great benevolent teacher, world honored one. To the thought of abundant treasures witness the Lotus Sutra, the separated embodiments of the Buddha in the 10 directions in the past, present, and future. The four great Bodhisattvas, superior practice, boundless practice, pure practice, and steadfast practice. The Bodhisattva Mahasambhas, Manjushri, Universal Sage, Maitreya, and all other Bodhisattva Mahasattvas. Great Bodhisattva Nichiren, revered practitioner of Lotus Sutra, found in ego, great is the one vehicle, gold, found in Yoko, Bodhisattva of the way of compassion, the guardian spirits of Rissho Kosei-kai, the guardian spirits of New York and Hiroshima, the guardian spirits of member families of Rissho Kosei-kai, and the countless heavenly spirits in the 10 directions. We reverently offer and transfer the merits of this recitation to all our ancestors and all others recorded in our memorial registers, all those Memorial Days today, all of the victims of Hiroshima, and all those who have passed beyond known and unknown to us, whoever they be, so that they may delight in the days of the Dharma, and quickly accomplish the wondrous root of supreme awakening. We earnestly pray that with the help of divine guidance and protection, all living beings may awaken to their Buddha nature, and world peace be achieved. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Yes. And the next person that will come up and offer prayers was actually for a Reverend Diane, but she's not here today. So I'm going to read her prayers in absentia because she wasn't here. Let me read her prayer. Read it that she gave to us. She's a Christian woman, Christian minister, and I want to just read what she said. Reverend Lynch, thank you so much for reading my words of greeting and opening prayer. Again, I'm so sorry I'm unable to be there in person. May spirit be with all of you as you gather, and may peace be our guide towards a better future together. Greetings to all gathered on this annual Hiroshima Nagasaki Memorial event. I'm so grateful for the faithful leadership, generous and kind spirit of our own Venerable Nakagaki to always extend this invitation. It is with deep regret that these past 2 years, because of either parental illness or extended personal injury, I've been unable to be with you in person for this service. Now, once again, this time, due to a critical ministry travel assignment, I'm saddened that I will not be able to join you on this solemn and important occasion. On behalf of the entire community at the Church Center for the United Nations, of which I'm honored to be called the United Methodist Women in Service as its chaplain, I bring greetings of hope and resilience from the source of all light and compassion toward a world where truth, grace, mercy, and love for all creation are once again seen as holy. And as we can all continue the work of justice together towards the things that make for peace. May my deepest gratitude to all of you, to James for reading my words today, and let us pray. Final thing. Holy One, creator of all that is and is to come, we gather here today in a spirit of unity and remembrance, honoring the resilience and courage of those affected by the tragic events of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We call upon the strength and transcends our diverse beliefs to guide us towards healing and peace. May our hearts be open, our minds receptive, and our spirits united in purpose as we reflect on the past, learn for the future, and renew our commitment to a harmonious world. In gratitude, we remember the lives lost and those who suffered, and we affirm our shared responsibility to nurture peace and understanding among all people. As we join together in this sacred space, let us hold the vision of a world where love overcomes fear, kindness triumphs over discord. Amen. Ashe. Shalom. Salam. Shanti. Peace be with us all. Reverend Diane B. Bassier, Master Divinity. Thank you very much. Let me get the next person. Next. He's not here. I think we have, yes, we'll have you. Yes. Let me just read for you. Let me see who you are. Guruji, His Holiness is a world-renowned yogi and humanitarian, recognized for his global work in yoga and interfaith understanding. He is the founder of the World Yoga Community, a social, culture, and religious NGO associated with the United Nations. According to the World Yoga Community, he is also the founder and Secretary General of the Global Yoga Sanan Sports Council. Thank you for being here.
त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षेयमामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षेयमामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षेयमामृतात् ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ततो मा सत्कमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. My great pleasure and honor to join with our peacemakers. Like 1 hour before, when I was talking with Reverend James Lynch, what we can do for the peace. I said, we have a center here. Bring everyone together. World is going in a chaos. If we don't have a good leader with a spiritual nature, we all suffer. We already had enough. We don't want. We had to make a world where we can be in harmony and peace as one God ruling all over the world with love and care. We came from different religions or ethnicities or culture. Doesn't matter. In the end, we see we have a short life, but we try to blame each other, rather appreciate we have a beautiful life. So make sure wherever you go, you make friends. Very easy to create enemies. Within a split second, we can be enemies, but very hard to maintain friendship. So this is the thing we have to remember. So precious life. Appreciate and enjoy our every single moment. There's no time for us for thinking for future. If you do something today, make sure we are doing for everybody, not only for ourselves. In my philosophy, in India, we grew up. We all are in one family under one guy. So there is no another world to celebrate our existence. Peace should be now, every single moment. Thank you, God.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Next, we're supposed to have on the video. This is the first time we're doing it this way, so I have to let you know. So we have a video with Imam Shahadullah had given some words at this time. Hopefully we'll get it on the video. I'll check if I can. Yoshi is back to the hard work. So make sure.
They're a little late in the time.
Yes.
In the name of God, the most merciful and most merciless. Dear friends, and to all peace-loving people around the world, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you. It is with a heavy heart and deep humility that I send this message to honor the memory of those who perished in the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. As we mark of 80th anniversary of this unmanageable tragedy, I join you physically in spirit and spiritually in solidarity on this peace pilgrim. The memory of August 6 and 9, 1945, and are not just date in history. They are moral warning of humanity. The cries of children, the silence of schools sit up, and the pain of survivors must never be forgotten. In Islam, the sanctity of every human life is paramount. The Holy Book, the Quran, Al-Karim, mention or remind us that whoever kills a soul, it is as if he had silenced all of humanity, and however saves one, it is as if he had saved all of humanity. Surah Al-Ma'idah 5 verse 32. Today, as the world continues with witness tragic conflicts from Ukraine to Gaza, we are reminded that the danger of war, hatred, and nuclear arms are not relics of the past. The continued existence of these weapons and normalization of violence should alarm our moral consequences. Let us not only remind the past, let us act in the present. Peace is not passive, it is an active commitment, a scared duty to uphold the dignity of life, to speak for the voiceless, and to stand against the machinery of war and injustice. We must teach our children not just history, but hope, definitely. Not just war stories, but peacemaking. To my brother and sister in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I thank you courage to turn pain into purpose, your commitment to peace education, and your welcome of global pilgrim gives the world hope. May our shared prayer and action build bridges where there are walls and compassions where there is conflict. O God, O source of peace, make us among those who bring peace to others. Unite our hearts across the border and beliefs. Protect us from the darkness of war and arrogance of power. Guide us all toward a future where love triumphs over hate and where short are turned into bullshit. May peace be upon Hiroshima. May peace be upon Nagasaki. May peace be all us. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Next, we're going to have words from Judaism. Rabbi Joe Potasnik is going to have offered words. He's the head of the New York Board of Rabbis.
Jewish tradition tells us a story of two people stranded on a desert island with only one canteen of water. The question is, who should drink from that canteen? After a much heated debate, the answer is the one who owns the canteen has the right to drink from it. But that person has a responsibility to perpetuate the memory of the person left behind, of the person who died because he couldn't drink any water. All of us come here to remember those who lost their lives during a horrific period. They didn't get a chance to drink from that canteen. So all of us who did have a moral responsibility to perpetuate their memory, their legacy. There is a movie, King's Speech, in which King George VI, who is a scholar, tries to overcome his limitation. One day he says to his teacher, I have a voice. I think all of us recognize that not only do we have a voice, but we must use our voices to protest the horrors of war so that we don't have to come back year after year and recall another conflict. The word for community in Hebrew, kehillah, has the word kol, that is voice. If you really want to be a recognized member of a community, you have to raise your voice so you can be heard. Don't ask, what can I do and do nothing? Ask, what else can I do and do something? It's interesting. When you go to an airport, you see different faith chapels. All of those faith chapels are equal in size, and they are contiguous to one another to teach us that all of us have our different beliefs and our traditions, but all of us also belong to one human family. We say in our each day, it is not enough to love peace. You have to pursue peace. So we are here as not only peace partners, we are here as peace pursuers. When you get a ticket to an event, it will say on it, no good if detached. We cannot be our best. We cannot be any good if we are detached from one another. So thus in Hebrew, the word for bread is lechem. With those three letters, you can form two other words. One is lochem, that means to fight. The other is cholei, that means to dream. Sadly, in this world, there are some people who only dream to fight. There are others who have to fight for bread. But some of us will continue to fight for a dream of a day when we will see peace, no war, for all of us who will pray for peace and pursue peace. That is what we need. That is what we deserve. Amen.
Thank you, Joe Katanza. He's actually a great friend of the Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation and also Rissho Kosei-kai. That's a lot of work. Now we'll have Shinto prayer. I want to make sure everybody knew what's happening is the person in the back, Yoshi, is trying to connect us to Hiroshima. Something's not coming through, but I wanted to make sure you knew that, right? But it doesn't matter as long as we hear this is the place we're supposed to be. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I, Michael Yuge, Minister of Tennikyo Mission New York Center, speak with reverence to those who passed away in the Hiroshima and Nagasaki atomic bombings. Today we remember and honor you and hope that we humankind have learned the tragic lessons of this man-made disaster. We all pray sincerely that God the Parent will accept our determination and guide us so that the minds of people will become clear one after another, and the world will be reconstructed into the joyous life in which all the people throughout the world will help one another and live in harmony as brothers and sisters.
Today, August 6th, we're in Hiroshima, and so since we have special seating from the guests, so I'd like to have a little comments on it. Can you say some comments or listen to me?
We are, my name is Reverend Chloe Breyer at Interfaith Center of New York, and it is an extraordinary privilege to be here today on the 80th anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We are surrounded by school children, dignitaries, foreign guests, and it's a really amazing thing at a time when the world has really needed to be reminded of the dangers of nuclear war. I just am glad to be here and hope that we can remember the lessons of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Say a couple of words.
Hello, I'm Carol Hunt, Minister of Unity in Harlem, and so privileged today to be in Hiroshima with Reverend TK and other clergy at the commemoration of the bombing of Hiroshima. Say a few words.
My name is Imam Muhammad Shahidullah on behalf of Interfaith Center of USA, Save the People. I just arrived on the main ceremony on behalf of with the Heiwa Peace Pilgrim trip, and I just say one word: never again, and then no more Hiroshima, no more Nagasaki. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hi, this is Bhikkhu Sakarananda from Amata Vihara. It's an honor to be here to commemorate the 80th anniversary of Hiroshima atomic bombing. I'm really grateful to be here, and then this event not only showing that we all have more for the tragic event in the past, but it also demonstrates the very strength of our human being. Being a human being, we have all the capacity of being compassionate and being strong.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We're now going to have, we're trying to make the connection. I think we can now have some music. At least we can't see the pop star Shinjin Harada, but I'd like for us to listen to his music. He does a lot of music on peace, and his work is legendary with regards to the Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation with regards to the special day. So let's listen to his music. She's going to put it on. I just want to make sure that you know.
Come on, let's work for peace. Peace. And let's walk towards peace. Everybody. Heiwa. 諦めない世界平和。さあ、上を向いて、come on. Okay. .青く綺麗なこの星が黒い雲に覆われてる。人が互いに憎み合う。きっと心の闇のせい。大地を飾る花たちはいつも笑顔くれるのに、森の中で鳥たちは生きる喜び歌うのに。Oh. Peace. Come on, let's walk for peace. Peace. Let's walk towards peace. つなぐ世界平和の意志。歌いながら行こう。笑顔で進もう。命と情は尊ぶ心。今日はない Tell for tomorrow だけど信じて進もう明日を下に青く綺麗な星のために7つの色の虹のよう 雨上がりの大空に世界中の人たちで作ろう心の架け橋希望の街で私たちは違いを優しく語ろうそれは明日笑顔になり必ず心をつなぎ合える Alright Come on, let's work for peace Let's walk towards peace 諦めない世界平和さあ上を向いて声を上げるのさ夢を信じる強い想いみんなの笑顔を守りぬ勇気を出して手をつなぐ青く綺麗な星のために Everybody say Come on, let's work for peace Oh, let's work towards peaceつなごう世界平和の意志歌いながら行こう笑顔で進もう Alright Come on, let's work for peace Let's work towards peace Hey, 諦めない世界平和さあ上を向いて声を上げるのさ声を上げるのさ最後現場に行きましょうわわ平和ありがとうございました
Remind ourselves that this is a sacred time. I don't think, I'll be honest with you, I think that we're in an unusual time in the world. People are having problems in the Middle East, Ukraine, Africa, the streets of New York, Los Angeles. And so really we're called to have some kind of justice and some kind of love. So I don't think that there's a coincidence that we're here today. And the people from Hiroshima remind us of our humanity. So I'm thankful that we're here.
ただいま行っておりますのは、原爆犠牲者の方々に対します献水でございます。
The ritual offering of water is now being performed at the cenotaph to comfort the souls of the atomic bomb victims.
80年前のこの日、炎の中で水を求めながら亡くなられた方々のために、市内17カ所から集めた聖水を捧げております。
In this ritual, pure water collected from 17 locations in the city is solemnly offered to the victims who died in the flames while seeking water on this day 80 years ago.
We have come to the scheduled time. We'd like to commence the Peace Memorial Ceremony. Dedication of the Register of the Names of Fallen Atomic Bomb Victims. Mayor of Hiroshima City, representative of the bereaved families. In the register that has been now dedicated, the names of 4,940 atomic bomb victims are entered. The total number of the names in the register, including the names that have been entered until last year, is 349,246. Address. Chairperson of the Hiroshima City Council. Address. Today, we're joined by Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, distinguished guests, Hibakusha, and bereaved families, as well as citizens from Japan and around the world, at the Peace Memorial Ceremony to pay our deepest respect to the many souls of the victims of the atomic bombing. "80 years ago, on August 6, a single atomic bomb annihilated the city of Hiroshima in an instant, claiming the countless lives. Those who managed to survive have lived a life full of suffering, too great to put into words. It is based on this horrific experience that Hibakusha and all citizens of Hiroshima have continued to convey the reality of the atomic bombing and appeal for the preciousness of peace. Despite this, however, there's no end in sight to wars and conflict across the globe today. From the threat of nuclear weapon use to countries bolstering their nuclear arsenal, the state of affairs regarding nuclear weapons is rapidly taking a turn for the world. It is in this troubling time that Nihon Hidankyo was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in December 2024 for the work for nuclear weapons abolition. Facing the harrowing memories of the atomic bombing, the Hidankyo continues to convey the experience to the world, appeal for the inhumanity of nuclear weapons. With the deep recognition of historic value of this award, international society must take the will of the Hibakusha that no one else should ever suffer as they have to heart. We must make this milestone 80 years since the atomic bombing, the year in which we strongly resolve to work toward a world free from war, where everyone can live safely in peace and demonstrate this resolve through action. We hereby reaffirm a pledge to continue to do all in our power for the realization of the abolition of nuclear weapons and a lasting world peace by joining hands with those who desire peace. In closing, we offer our prayers for the peaceful repose of the souls lost in the atomic bombing. We sincerely hope that the Hibakusha who still suffer from after effects and the bereaved families will receive strengthened comprehensive care and support from the national government. August 6, 2025. Norihiko Hachijo, chairperson of the Hiroshima City Council.
Offering of flowers. Mayor of Hiroshima and the Speaker of the Hiroshima City Council. Representatives of the bereaved families, children's representatives. Representatives of the Hibakusha. Prime Minister of Japan. Speaker of the House of Representatives. President of the House of Councilors. Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Minister of Foreign Affairs. Minister of Health, Labor and Welfare. Governor of Hiroshima Prefecture and the Speaker of the Hiroshima Prefectural Assembly. Representatives of the citizens of Nagasaki. Secretary General of the United Nations. Executive Secretary of the Preparatory Commission for the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization. Representatives of the sister and friendship cities. Representatives of Mayors for Peace. Next, I ask the representatives of the citizens of Hiroshima to lay flowers. It'll soon be 8:15. At the sound of the bell, we'll observe a minute of silence to console the souls of those who fell victim to the atomic bombing and to pray for a lasting world peace. Everyone, please rise if you are able to. Silent prayer. Thank you. Please be seated.
Peace Declaration. Mayor of Hiroshima City. Peace Declaration. 80 years ago, Hiroshima was strewn with bodies too damaged to identify even their sex. One Hibakusha ignored the many glass shards piercing her body to cremate her father with her own hands. Elsewhere, a young woman begged, "I don't care if I die, please give me water." And decades later, a woman who heard that plea still regretted not giving the young woman water. She told herself that fighting for the elimination of the nuclear weapon was the best she could do for those who died. Another Hibakusha spent his life alone because the parents of the woman he loved refused to let him marry anyone exposed to the bomb. One Hibakusha leader frequently reminded younger audiences, building a peaceful world without nuclear weapons would demand our never give up spirit. We have to talk and keep talking to people who hold opposing views. Today, conveying the ardent pleas for peace derived from Hibakusha experience is more crucial than ever. The United States and Russia still possesses about the 90% of the world's nuclear warheads. And Russian invasion of Ukraine and the chaos in the Middle East are accelerating military build-up around the world. And then feeling the pressure situation, policymakers in some countries even expect the idea that the nuclear weapons are essential for national defense. This development flagrantly disregard the lessons the international community should have learned from the tragedies of the history. They threaten to topple the peace-building frameworks so many have worked so hard to construct. Despite the current turmoil at the nation-state level, we, the people, must never give up. Instead, we must work even harder to build a civil society consensus that nuclear weapons must be abolished for a genuinely peaceful world. Our youth, the leader of future generation, must recognize that misguided policies regarding military spending, national security, and nuclear weapons could bring utterly inhumane consequences. We urge them to step forward with this understanding and lead civil society toward a consensus through expanded participation at grassroots level. In this process, we must all remember to think less about ourselves and more about each other. Thinking of others is how humanity has resolved much conflict and turmoil on a path to the present day. Clearly, nations too must look beyond narrow self-interest to consider the circumstances of other nations. In expanding grassroots initiative, solidarity will be indispensable. Cultural arts and sports exchanges contribute enormously to the cultural peace we seek, and in fostering that culture of peace, young people can easily take the lead. All they need to do is conceive and initiate projects that they can carry out in the course of daily life, such as Peace Center Arch and Muse project of planting seeds and saplings from atomic bombed trees. The city of Hiroshima continuously offers opportunity to experience the culture of peace built by Hiroshima's hibakushas and other predecessors in the spirit of mutual support. The more our peace culture transcends the national borders, the more it will pressure policymakers now rely on nuclear deterrence to revise their policies. Policymakers around the world, can you now see the security policy derived from narrow self-interest and fomenting international conflict? Nations now strengthen their military forces, some including its nuclear arsenal, must engage constructively in talks aimed at abandoning reliance on nuclear weapons. Please visit Hiroshima. Witness with your own eyes what an atomic bombing does. Take to heart the peace-loving spirit of Hiroshima, then begin immediately discussing a security framework based on trust through dialogue. Japan is the only nation that has suffered an atomic bombing in war, and the Japanese government represents the people who aspire to genuine and lasting peace. Hiroshima demands the government to lead toward unification of the divided international community. As president of Mayor for Peace, already the world's largest network of peace cities and still growing, the city of Hiroshima will collaborate with more than 8,500 member cities worldwide to instill the culture of peace, which stands in firm opposition to military force. We will call on policymakers to revise their policies. We call Japan, for example, to sign and ratify the Treaty on the Prohibition of the Nuclear Weapon, TPNW. Doing so would manifest the spirit of Hiroshima and begin to answer the supplication of our hibakusha, represented by Nihon Hidankyo, last year's Nobel Peace Prize recipient. The NPT is on the brink of this functionality. The TPNW should serve as strong support for that treaty, helping it remain to the cornerstone of the nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation regime. We demand that Japan at least participates as an observer during the first TPNW review conference next year. Furthermore, in light of the intensified global challenges of coping with radiation damage due to nuclear testing, we demand that our government strengthen measures of support for all hibakusha, including those living abroad. With their average age now exceeding 86, they still face a million hardships caused by radiation damage to their minds and bodies. At this peace memorial ceremony marking 80 years since the atomic bombing, we offer our heartfelt condolences to the souls of victims of the atomic bombing. We renew our determination to work together with Nagasaki and with like-minded people around the world to reach humanity the long-sought goal, the abolition of nuclear weapons, leading to lasting world peace. August 6, 2025. Matsui Kazumi, Mayor of the City of Hiroshima.
Commitment to Peace by Children's Representatives. Commitment to Peace. The day will come when there are no more hibakusha left in the world. In order to avoid repeating the same mistakes, as many people as possible must know the truth of what happened. Have you ever imagined what it was like on the day the atomic bomb was dropped? At 8:15 a.m. on August 6, 1945, the very first atomic bomb in the history of human warfare was dropped on Hiroshima, annihilating in an instant the lives we take for granted. Imagine people burnt beyond recognition, unending tears pouring with wails of despair. A single atomic bomb robbed countless people of their lives and changed the lives of survivors forever. It has been 80 years since the atomic bombing. We now have less chances than ever to hear directly from the hibakusha as they speak of memories that are extremely painful. Memories they would rather forget. No matter how much time passes, we cannot allow the tragedy to fade from memory. The responsibility to record and convey the voices of the hibakusha to the next generation falls to us. Wars are happening right now in places around the world. There are so many people who have lost their loved ones and their will to live. We should take these facts personally and concern ourselves with peace. We should be accepting diversity and work to understand others. If each of us is considerate of each other's feelings and speak to one another with compassion, then there will be no more hurt or sadness. We believe that the smallest gestures to those around you might one day lead to world peace. One voice. When spoken with conviction about facts they learned, even just one voice can make a difference. It isn't just adults either. We, the children, also have the ability to take actions for peace. In order to avoid repeating what happened that day, to avoid repeating the history of Hiroshima, we will build peace by continuing to convey the will of the hibakusha and weaving our voices together as one. August 6, 2025, children's representatives Sekiguchi Chieri, 6th year, Hiroshima City Minami Elementary School. Sasaki Shun, 6th year, Hiroshima City Gion Elementary School. Address by the Prime Minister of Japan. "80 years ago today, a single atomic bomb exploded, claiming more than 100,000 precious lives. Even for those who survived the atomic bombing, it brought about days of indescribable suffering. As Prime Minister of Japan, I'd like to offer my deepest condolences to the victims of the atomic bomb. And I would also like to express my heartfelt sympathy to those who are still suffering from the after effects of the atomic bombing. In September 2 years ago, I visited the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum for the first time since its renovation. 80 years ago, what happened under the rising mushroom cloud that day? The city was burned to the ground and reduced to ashes. The black charred bodies of innocent people, the shadows of people who had been living normal lives, were burnt onto the stones in an instant by heat rays reaching 4,000 degrees Celsius. Many of the victims were ordinary citizens. I was speechless at the thought of people's dreams and bright futures being taken away from them so suddenly and mercilessly. We must never repeat the horrors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It is the mission of Japan, the only country to have suffered nuclear war, to lead the international community's efforts towards a world without nuclear weapons while adhering to the 3 non-nuclear principles. The division in the international community over nuclear disarmament is deepening, and the current security environment is becoming even more severe. However, this is precisely why we will do our utmost to achieve a world without nuclear war and a world without nuclear weapons under the NPT regime, which is the cornerstone of the international nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation regime. In preparation for next year's NPT review conference, we continue to urge countries to maximize the spirit of dialogue and cooperation. And we'll also continue our efforts to find concrete measures to be taken by the nuclear-armed states and other states together based on the Hiroshima Action Plan. The foundation for progress toward a world without nuclear weapons is an accurate understanding of the reality of the atomic bombings. The fact that the Nihon Hidankyo, which has worked for many years to abolish nuclear weapons, and to promote understanding of the reality of the atomic bombings was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize last year is extremely significant, and I'd like to pay tribute to them once again. The average age of Hibakusha is now over 86, and many of us are now in a generation that has never experienced war. When I visited Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum, I renewed my determination that these unbearable experiences and memories must not fade away, but must be passed on from generation to generation. As a government, we are calling on leaders and young people from around the world to visit Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and is helping to make this happen. The number of annual visitors to the museum exceeded 2 million for the first time last year, and more than 30% of them came from abroad. It is our responsibility to convey the reality of the atomic bombings not only to the people of Japan, but also to the people of the world. It has been 30 years since the Act on Special Measures Concerning Atomic Bomb Survivors Assistance came into effect. We will continue to promote comprehensive support measures covering health, medical care, and welfare for the aging Hibakusha by, for example, conducting examinations for certification of atomic bomb-related illness as quickly as possible. I'd like to pledge once again that we'll do our utmost to realize a world without nuclear war and a world without nuclear weapons and a world of lasting peace here in Hiroshima. I pray for the repose of the souls of the victims of the atomic bombs and for the peace of the bereaved families, Hibakusha, and all the participants and the citizens of Hiroshima. I'd like to offer my sincere condolences by reflecting on the poem by a tanka poet, Shoda Shinoe, inscribed on the monument of the A-bombed teacher and children. I quote, "The heavy bones must be of the teachers, the small skulls beside them must be of the students who gathered around her. You may find the monument in the green area in front of the Peace Park." August 6, 2025, Ishiba Shigeru, Prime Minister of Japan.
Addressed by Governor of Hiroshima Prefecture. In this marking the 80th year after the atomic bomb Hiroshima, on behalf of all people of Hiroshima Prefecture, I wish to offer my prayers for the souls lost in the atomic bomb, my deepest condolences to bereaved families, and my heartfelt sympathies to the atomic bomb survivors who are suffering even today. It was said that not a single grassy tree would grow in Hiroshima for 75 years. 5 years have already passed since that milestone, and Hiroshima has undergone dramatic transformation, marked by opening a new station building, the third generation since the bombing. Many tourists are visiting the city from around the world. Hiroshima has become a peaceful, thriving city. At the same time, we're aware that the prosperity we're joining today is fragile, As the international situation shifts from the one based on the rule of law diplomacy to a world ruled by overt violence, given this situation, some people argue that the importance of nuclear deterrence is growing. Is this really so? Certainly, the concept of deterrence may be necessary to prevent the outbreak of wars, but there are limitations. Since the Peloponnesian War in ancient Greece, deterrence supported by the balance of power has been broken repeatedly. This is because it is ultimately a psychological construct or idea that exists only in our minds. Unlike universal laws such as law of universal gravitation, deterrence is a not undeniable truth but a fiction. Deterrence has been broken by overconfident leaders, extreme egoism, pressure from an agitated populace, and widespread misunderstandings or misconceptions. Japan started the Pacific War despite its overwhelming disadvantage in the balance of power. Human beings do not always make a rational decision, which is the fundamental assumption of deterrence theory, especially a nuclear deterrence theory. In fact, a nuclear deterrence has not been safely sustained over the past 80 years, but has at times been on the brink of collapse. Historical records reveal several instances where the risk of nuclear catastrophe was averted only because of intentional breaches of protocol, the refusal to launch a nuclear missile. An ancient Chinese poet once wrote, "Rule and its nation remain the mountains of rivers. In the past, foundation of reconstruction remained even after a nation was ruined by the breakdown of deterrence. Remains the nation, ruined are the mountains of rivers." Should nuclear deterrence fail someday, as suggested by historical evidence, and should nuclear war occur, it will be impossible to save the human race and the earth from the unrecoverable devastation. What is the meaning of national security if it protects only the concept of nation, but has the possibility to lead unrecoverable end for its land and people? Deterrence does not simply refer to a balance of military power, but also encompasses broader elements such as soft power and diplomacy. To ensure the sustainability of humanity, even if deterrence fails, we must eliminate nuclear weapons as a component of deterrence. Reportedly, more than 14 trillion yen is spent annually to maintain nuclear deterrence. What we must do now is to invest just 1/10 of this amount into resources and knowledge to build a new security system without nuclear weapons. Nuclear evolution is not a far-off lodestar shining in the sky. As a fool was pinned under a collapsed building, crawled towards a light little by little in the darkness, and ultimately escaped the rubble with her life, we must pursue the evolution of nuclear weapons. It is a tangible, realistic goal within our reach, the failure of which could mean death. Don't give up. Keep pushing. See the light? Crawl toward it. Many who were unable to escape the rubble died in darkness and agony. To honor their memory, we must never give up and continue to crawl persistently to the light of the nuclear abolition, ensuring the lives and security of the human race and the earth. Lastly, Hiroshima Prefecture will never stop its efforts toward nuclear abolition. With this vow, I would like to conclude my message of peace. August 6, 2025. Hiraki Uzaki, Governor of the Hiroshima Prefecture.
Message from the Secretary General of the United Nations. And I have the honor of reading the Secretary General's message to Hiroshima. 80 years ago, the world changed forever. In a single moment, Hiroshima was engulfed in flames. Tens of thousands of lives were lost. A city was reduced to ruins. And humanity crossed the threshold from which there could be no return. On the 80th anniversary, we remember those who perished. We stand with the families who carry their memory. And we honor the brave Hibakusha, the survivors whose voices have become a moral force for peace. While their numbers grow smaller each year, their testimony and their eternal message of peace will never leave us. In the aftermath of the atomic bombing, many believed Hiroshima would never recover and that nothing would grow again. But the people of this city proved otherwise. You, the people of Hiroshima, did not just rebuild a city. You rebuild hope. You nurtured a vision of a world without nuclear weapons, and you shared that vision with the world. In May, saplings grown from seeds of trees that survived the atomic bombing were planted at the United Nations headquarters in New York. They are more than symbols of survival. They are living testaments to the strength of the human spirit and of our shared duty to protect future generations from the horrors of nuclear annihilation. This year also marks the 80th anniversary of the United Nations, and we are reminded why the UN was created: to prevent war, to uphold human dignity, and to ensure the tragedies of the past are never repeated. Yet today, the risk of nuclear conflict is growing. Trust is eroding. Geopolitical divisions are widening. And the very weapons that brought such devastation to Hiroshima and Nagasaki are once again being treated as tools of coercion. Yet, there are signs of hope. Last year, the Japanese organization, the Nihon Hirankyo, which represents the survivors of the Nagasaki and Hiroshima bombings, was awarded the 2024 Nobel Peace Prize for its tireless work in raising awareness about the critical issue. And in the Pact for the Future, adopted last year, countries recommitted to a world free of nuclear weapons. But commitments must lead to real change by strengthening the global disarmament regime. In particular, the Treaty of Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, complemented by the momentum created by the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. Countries must draw strength from the resilience of Hiroshima and from the wisdom of the Hibakusha. Let's work to eradicate the threat of nuclear weapons by eradicating the weapons themselves. And let's keep our pledge to the Hibakusha and ensure that their testimony and message of peace is carried forward. Remembering the past is about protecting and building peace today and in the future. August 6, 2025, Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations.
That ends addresses. Let us sing the Hiroshima Peace Song and chorus. Everyone, please remain seated and join us.
これをもちまして、広島市原爆死没者慰霊式並びに平和記念式を終わります。ただいまから来賓の方々が退場されます。ご参列の皆様はその場でお待ちくださいますようお願いいたします。
This concludes the Peace Memorial Ceremony. We ask that you please remain seated while our distinguished guests exit the grounds.
Education in California and serving in the U.S. Army in the Vietnam War. Mr. Furumoto moved to New Jersey in 1971, and in 1974, he and his lovely wife, Carolyn, launched Furumoto Realty, which specialized in placing Japanese executives in homes in the tri-state area. That's about 50 years going. Furumoto and his wife campaigned tirelessly for the passage of the Fred Korematsu Day. This is just one of the things he's been working on. In New Jersey, which was signed into law in January 30th, 2023. This honors Mr. Korematsu, an American who was not allowed to serve in the U.S. military due to his Japanese ancestry. When Executive Order 9066 was issued in February 1942, Mr. Korematsu refused to move to an incarceration facility because he thought his civil rights were being violated. Among Mr. Furumoto's other civic humanitarian achievements, he's a founder and currently the honorary chairman of the New York Hiroshima Kai, an association that cultivates mutual friendship among people in Hiroshima and in the Northeast U.S. That includes New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts, respectively. On August the 5th of each year, that's why he's here, Rissho Kai hosts a peace memorial event in New York City, that's why he's here, to commemorate the atomic bomb victims in Japan. Mr. Furumoto in Hiroshima had been devastated by the attack. He's a life member of the Japanese American Veterans Association, helping to organize events in the New York City area, and he's also a founding member of the Digital Museum of the History of Japanese in New York. This museum collects and shares the stories of thousands of Japanese and Japanese Americans who have lived in New York since the first Japanese officially delegation arrived in 1860. I could go on, I have about 9 pages. And with that, I want to have Mr. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you very much.
Hi. See a lot of familiar faces during last 32 years. I didn't pay you to say that, did I?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I can say a lot more.
Yeah, no, yeah. You know, I've been a product of war all my life. I'll be 81 very shortly. And I tell you, but peace is so priceless. Unless you fought in war, which I did in Vietnam. And I tell you, what you have to go through to survive. Fortunately, I came back and I was able to survive PTSD because of my wife, who had nursed me, financially supported me. And this is one of the reasons why I started Furumoto Realty, because I got terminated because of my conditions. But you know, you must go on. And also during that war, this is not like nuclear weapon, it's very similar. We got exposed to Agent Orange. This is a defoliant that the US Army or military had to see from the top, so they killed the trees. And many of us, many soldiers, including 3 million Vietnamese civilians, were exposed to this. And well, thank goodness the military does support me with medication, which is thousands of dollars every month. But you know what war does? It costs you taxpayers so much money. Even the individual, thousands and thousands of dollars each month. People don't realize how much war costs. And after we got released from the camp, I was born in an incarceration camp, which was passed by President Roosevelt, Executive Order 9066, which interned us without any due process. They give us 10 days notice, give us 2 suitcases of things that you could carry. Anybody who had a pet, piano, cars, I mean, you had to almost give everything up. Even you were released, you come back, you lost everything. But this did happen in the United States. But we had to endure because this country does give an opportunity my father, who came here when he was 13 years old, 1921, right after the Spanish flu, which was also very similar to corona virus, which lasted 3 years. When he came, he joined his family, but the family could not afford him. So at age 14, he carried blanket. He was a migrant farmer. I'm a son of a migrant farmer, just like many, many Americans who came from all over the world and makes this country a very vibrant country. We envy the world. And we really like to get this back into our country. And today there was a ruler, was a newspaper or television outfit that came. And I was able to say, this is a great country. Don't forget us to the world. And, remember us. But today, James, you and Nimura-san and Yoshiko, despite the new way of doing things, it must have been very, very difficult. And well, it is very hard for me to follow all those beautiful speeches of all these VIPs gave. But you know that their speech was by the two elementary school boys. Back in 2016, when President Obama, the only sitting president ever to visit Hiroshima, Japan, to pay respect for Hibakusha, I was able to go back to my elementary school that I attended, Gion Elementary School. They had the kids that you probably saw. They were 5th, 6th graders. And in Japan, they have a peace class. I don't know if this country ever has peace class, but I think they should. And they gave me about 120 students. And I talked about war and peace. And at that time, I heard the best answer to creating a peace. He said, Mr. Furumoto, you don't know what peace is? It's very simple, he says. What he did is that he put arm around the kid right next to him. He smiled like, this is what peace is about. Some kids know a lot more than adults. It's important that we really, do unto others what is done to you. But anyway, it is individual effort. It is like moving one pebble at a time. Reverend Nakagaki and I have been doing this for 32 years, and we've been moving pebble 1 year at a time. But hopefully, this will resonate. I don't know. Today, you see Ukraine and Russia, and just pushing the hot button is the end of the world. What you saw in atomic bomb in 1945 is 100 times stronger. So if somebody get a hot head, we're finished. But really, really have to really get along with the neighbors. So hopefully you'll be good to your neighbors. But today, I don't know, James, we don't have too much time. Everybody endure 2 hours and a half. So I don't know, but you wanted to have a little discussion. If anybody has some idea what is your idea of peace, I'd be willing to take questions. And also, before I do that, why don't you have a closing statement so anybody wants to go home, right? Please.
Thank you. I would want to say one thing. He's an amazing man. I got a chance to speak to him about a few days ago, and he doesn't know. His wife didn't know. I was so moved by what you said when we talked, because a lot of times people, their life is a journey that they keep to themselves. And by you sharing, he has a lot of wisdom, a lot of determination that he got from, he mentioned his father briefly, his lovely wife. And so please recognize him and ask some questions if you have something. He'll tell you the truth. And I'm thankful for you. And also, I just wanted to show everybody a picture of Venerable Nakagaki. He did send, he said, I really am at this event. He sent me a picture. So I'm just going to show that picture to everybody right now because I want everybody to see it. He was there. You can see him here on this. Here's my phone. You can see him there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You can see Venerable Nakagaki was at the event there, and he was there weren't that many people there. I thought there were a lot more people, but there really weren't that many more people. So after you saw the people go up under that, there was a canopy. There was only like maybe another, I'd say 200 people.
Yeah.
So you had to be specially invited to that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to let you show everybody.
But fearless Reverend Nakagaki, amazing. When I first met him, he was in the early 30s. I was in the 40s. And I don't know, he still acts like he's 30 years old. Amazing guy. But, you know, he's doing something different. Wasn't it nice coming directly? Every year, I used to read the peace declaration of the mayor, starting from Mayor Hiroka, and Akiba, and then Matsui. These guys, I mean, they have at least 10-year tenure, each one of them. But it's amazing. But, you know, he endured through that. He's an amazing guy, you know. Anybody have any, you know, talk about TK or yourselves or, yes, please.
I got a question. I'm a teaching artist. I have a class of second graders
Okay.
this summer in the Summer Rising program in Queens. And I want to tell them about what happened. And, you know, but I don't want to scare them, but I want them to understand this is really serious. So I wonder if you have any suggestions how to introduce
Well,
it.
you know, I've been going to like junior high school, college, and companies. And what I do is that, you know, I don't want to create a stigma. So I usually were trying to be a patriot. So I wear my Vietnam uniform. Actually, it still fits the one that I wore in jungle. So I do that to kind of break the ice. And then gradually talk about internment camp, the history. Finally, I think about 10 years ago, they put in the book, the history. And when myself and wife was going to school, junior high school in LA back in 1950s, only thing it said about internment camp on the topic of World War II was Japanese American were interned during World War II. I don't know what it does to anybody, but that's the only thing I have read. Now, finally, it's in a history book. And finally, we have at least Fred Korematsu Day in 7 states to recognize what happened to Americans without undue process, get locked up for nothing, just being what you are. And for past 80 years, it's been okay, but again, same thing is happening. And so I do a lot of lecturing, you know, but because I love this country, we have to protect it. Our Constitution, civil rights, it works if you want to make it work. So it is very important for us to recognize that. That don't just, you know, give up, but we must really fight for it. Because you know something, you go to different countries, you're going to realize how good this country is. My father, like I mentioned, only had 8th grade education, couldn't speak English. But he had 26 people working for him, 1938, 4 years before the war. And he had a car, beautiful house, everything was taken away. And then we had to go back to Hiroshima. But you know, he brought us back to the United States. He sent my siblings, my 4 sisters, to missionary school so they could learn English. And because of the some loophole, we could come back. Because when we went to Japan, was a tacit deportation. We got deported, actually. My mother, passport was taken away. My father was Canadian Japanese, so he couldn't come back. Us kids were American citizens who couldn't come back. So my sister, my second sister, they worked hard in 1952, 53, and then we called everybody. We're unified back in 1956. But this country is worth it. I became officer in the United States Army. graduated from UCLA, I was able to do that because of my father, who worked 3 jobs a day, and we watched them. It's amazing what it does. He was our leader. But even guys like him, he has an opportunity. It is a country of immigrants. It is. All of us. I mean, everybody. But we made it through here. Even my nephews and nieces went to Harvard, become a doctor, also become judge. So, in short time, you could make a difference in this country. It does give the opportunity. And we have no place to go. This is our country, so just remember that. I'm sorry I didn't talk too much about Hiroshima, but I had my uncle was actually faced atomic bomb. He was very lucky. He was in 6th grade. Just like, I don't know if you remember Morimoto-san, West Tamiko. Well, she couldn't make it because physically he's not able to come. But because of that, they can come. But I wish that, the Hibakusha would come. Everybody is dying off now, one by one. But I just wanted to say a few words about that. I talk too much.
No. That's wonderful.
Thank you. I just wanted to
So I thank you very much for joining today, and it's very nice to be able to connect to New York and Japan and observe this moment together on the 80th anniversary of Hiroshima atomic bombings. And I would like to conclude with a short meditation. So please join me in Gassho. Place your palms together and bow your head. May all sentient beings be happy, well, and peaceful. May we all be free from suffering. May we all be free from pain. May we all be free from attachment, from greed, anger, and ignorance. May we all attain ultimate happiness and peace of enlightenment. 願に宿毒平等性一切同発菩提心往生安楽 Peace to you all, and thank you very much.
Thank you.